Hi, I'm Jamian, your host of Smells Meaningful. And today I wanted to first off do some July empties. We all love empties, right? I know we've got some project panners in here. I wanted to kind of tell you guys where I'm at with my perfume collection, why I've got so many empties. These are all samples and minis and a little hand lotion. But I wanted to approach kind of the more practical side of perfume collecting. Now, what makes my collection meaningful to me is to, let's start by defining what it's not. It is not to be overwhelmed. I get overwhelmed really easily. So when my collection starts expanding too fast, or especially when I start an influx of just so many samples that I can't even remember what I have and what I don't, and what I've tested and what I haven't, I get decision fatigue and overwhelm. And so the past few months I've been focusing on using up all of my redundant samples. And my overarching goal is to basically use up pretty much all of my samples and then be able to kind of focus with more peace of mind on my permanent collection. And what I want my permanent collection to be is perfumes that I've bonded with, that I have loved. Maybe it's love at first smell and I upgrade immediately, but it's something that I can remember the feelings that go along with that fragrance and the associations I have with it in my life, for my past, for my present, for my future. It's like my clothing wardrobe, and I don't know if everyone approaches clothing that way either, but for me, my clothing, I spend a lot of thoughtfulness in picking it out. I want to be familiar with it. I want to know what goes with what and what weather is good for what, and I don't want to have to try on 16 things in the morning. So I want to bond with my clothing wardrobe. I want to bond with my fragrance wardrobe. I don't want to be overwhelmed and cluttered. I don't like declutters. I do some catch and release. But anyway, what I'm getting at is that I am going through several samples a week to try to kind of downsize my sample collection. And I started kind of keeping track of it and keeping track of the actual physical empties around the second week of July. So we're gonna do some July empties today. Let's start with Imaginary Authors in Love with Everything. This is a really fruity raspberry rose with boozy, rummy notes, and it was a lot of fun to use on my days to myself, summer days, fun and relaxing, and really enjoyed that. I definitely did bond with it. I feel like I would appreciate owning it. It's a redundant sample because I had 2 samples of it, so I'm saving the second one for later. It's not considered redundant. Maybe I won't get to it till next summer. The next one I have, what is this? This is Hermes Eau de Citron Noir. So I used this one up as a fragrance that I was wearing at work. It's got a kind of smoky tea note to it behind the really intense lemony citrus of it, and I feel like it was really good at work because the perfumes I like to wear at work are ones that I don't love too much, that they're more than like a like but not love, but something that isn't kind of too special to me, because there's some stressful things happen at work. I work in mental health, and I don't want all my favorite perfumes to be associated with work, So this was just kind of a good, refreshing summer scent with like a little bit of edge, a little bit of smokiness, something other than just like a bright, fun citrus floral. I like to have a little bit of edge in the perfumes that I wear at work too. Maybe I shouldn't be wearing so much perfume at work, but I can't help it. It's what makes life. One of the things that makes life special to me is fragrance. So I am going to wear fragrance to work, and I'm going to wear things that provide a little. I don't want things to be just too kind of fun and fresh and easy. I don't want the super easy wears, but I also don't want the ones that are too special. So the kind of smoky darkness, Citron Noir, that makes it just right for me for work. I have also Akro Crush. I had a 1 ml dabber sample of that one. I thought that one, at first I thought it might be a little too much for the summer. It's a pretty rich gourmand. It's kind of buttery and cakey. You know, it's based on a rose macaron pastry, and but I found it actually really nice in the evenings, you know, just kind of downtime evenings at home. It was really nice during the summer. And let's find the other ones. I had kind of a neat little progression that I liked with this one. So I was working on Jardin Mediterranee. This is very figgy, very marine, very green, very fresh, and I was really enjoying this for during the day, and I was wanting to wear Crush in the evenings, and I found a nice little bridge in between them, which was Parfums de Marly, Delina la Rosee. So Mediterranee during the day, Delina la Rosee in like the late afternoon. It has a lotus note and a green kind of fresh quality, but also very rose forward. I think it's like rose and peony, and a fruitiness to it. So I can put it on when I can still smell a little of the Mediterranee. They have a greenness quality that they share. And so then I've got the Delina la Rosee on, and as that kind of fades out, I've got Akro Crush, and they share the rose note. So I wanted to kind of talk about how I do a progression. Sometimes it's sort of a layering progressively. The other one that I finished up in, one of the other ones I finished up in July is from Cognoscenti. It's Warrior Queen, which is a limited edition. This brand is a niche brand produced by Danielle Sargent. She's amazing. Her perfumes are amazing. She's an amazing artist. Definitely check out her brand. And Warrior Queen is a big, powerful solar floral with some aromatics, a lot of citrus. It's been great for my summer date night perfume. So this is the one I wore for several weeks in a row on our weekly date nights, and it made me feel sexy and powerful and bright and vivacious and very alive, and really enjoyed that. Another one I used up at work is another one from Hermes. That is one of my favorite designer perfume houses. This is Paprika Brazil, and I've had this since my very earliest days of perfume collecting. That also goes for these Jardin minis. I started collecting in about 2016 and was just looking for kind of light fragrances to wear at work, and I discovered the Hermes Jardin line and the Hermescence lines, and those are very, you know, they were developed by Jean-Claude Elena initially, the earlier ones were, and I really love his style of being light and fresh and transparent and, you know, kind of work safe, but with really interesting elements to them still. So safe but not boring. And Paprika Brazil is, it's hard to describe, and it's not necessarily really what you would think it would be. I wouldn't pick it out as paprika, like it doesn't smell like food with paprika in it, but it's, so Brazil wood is a rich red wood that is, it's intense in its color. I guess it has a smoky aroma to it, and so this smells like Brazil wood. I haven't actually smelled Brazil wood, but I think that's the impression it is trying to give, and paprika is the color of it. And yeah, so it's red, it's woody, but the composition has a lot of iris in it, and I don't know, that sounds like a mess, but it's beautiful. It's irisy, it's woody, it's a little spicy, but it's green and fresh. It's great really any time of year because it's got enough warmth and spice to make sense in the cooler months, but the iris and the greenness make it great for summer too. I think in the very hottest months, it is the very hottest months right now, but I still got away with it. It still made sense to me. I really enjoyed wearing that. The next one I have is Bottega Veneta Knot, and this is a nice, soft citrus floral. It's neroli, orange blossom. It's a little soapy-ish. I don't really love strongly soapy fragrances, but it's got just like kind of a fresh cleanness to it. And again, like I don't really love that genre of like clean scents and detergent-y smelling scents, but this was just right. This is like a good orange blossom fabric softener or something, but elevated. And I used it up wearing it at bedtime. And now we have Jardin de Marly. This is a nice green, kind of minty, citrusy. It's got a kumquat note, which is really unique in perfumery. I love kumquats. They're delicious. They're kind of the most complex little citrus fruit. They're kind of bite-sized, and the skin is really tart, and the fruit is really sweet. And you get that combination of tartness and sweetness in this fragrance, and the cool mintiness. I think some places list it as having notes of like wet stone, and I definitely get that impression. It's supposed to be modeled on a meditative garden. And I was wearing that one a lot at the end of my workday, so I keep an extra little perfume with me at work to put on kind of after the last patient of the day, or sometimes not until I'm done charting, depending on the mood I'm in. Sometimes a really enjoyable fragrance will distract me too much from my charting, my kind of to-do list after I'm done with patients, but still have housekeeping stuff to do. But anyway, that was something that I would use at the end of the workday, and definitely on my drive home to be, kind of get rid of the day, just kind of fresh start, recentering, feeling refreshed, feeling calm and meditative, and really helped me unwind on my drive home and during the evenings after work. Now, the last one that I have is Jazz Club from Maison Margiela Replica, and this is another one that I thought might be kind of too much for summer, but in the late evenings, after dark, that few hours between sunset and going to bed for an old person pretty early. It's only a couple hours to wear something like that, but I did really enjoy it. It is a boozy, sweet. I have 2 rum perfumes this month. The In Love with Everything was also a rum boozy perfume, but it smells like a bar counter, like a bar, like where you can smell the wood and the resin, and like someone spilled their drink on the counter, and you can kind of smell the booze and the syrupy sweetness and the wood and the resin and a little bit of cigarette smoke from the club and a little bit of the women's perfumes. It's got some floral notes in here, I think some jasmine and some orange blossom, which are notes in many of the perfumes that I love. And it was really nice in the evenings to have I'm not in my clubbing days anymore, but it brought a little of that fun and carefree type of feeling, and also a little like it's not quite as like seedy as I thought it might be. With it's got this listed smoke note, or like cigarette or tobacco or cigar or something. I forget exactly what they describe the note as in the notes list, but to me it does smell like cigarettes in a good way. And I don't love the smell of cigarettes. I'm not a smoker, but I there's some good associations with a kind of, I don't know if seedy is the right word. I already used that, but I guess I expected it to be a little edgier. But I think it's just right for a kind of low key fragrance, but it wasn't quite as kind of dirty and back room of a you know, a dimly lit bar. But, you know, there are other fragrances for that. Jasmine et Cigarette is a really nice one from État Libre d'Orange that has a good cigarette note and a good kind of dirty floral, but that is not one that I finished this month. And one more I almost forgot was this body lotion. I had always been treating it as a hand cream. I've had this forever. Like, I'm embarrassed to admit, I've probably had this for like close to 10 years. It still smells good. It smelled fine. It didn't seem to go off, but it's just been kind of kicking around in the back of different drawers, you know, kind of junk drawers. I don't tend to like perfumed hand cream because, you know, it interferes with other perfumes that I'm wearing, but this came in a gift set with, you know, I wanted the big bottle and didn't really care about the lotion, but it's just been kind of kicking around, and I decided I'm gonna use it up. I'm not gonna throw it away, and I've been using it at work, using it at home, and when I realized it's actually a body lotion and not a hand cream, then I started using it as a body lotion, and that made me go through it a lot faster. So I really like Endless Euphoria. It is a kind of cherry blossom take on the Euphoria DNA, and it's great for spring and summer. It's nice and it's got a delicate fruity floral vibe to it. It's really enjoyable, and yeah, glad it's done and I can get back to unscented hand creams and body lotions. I hope you enjoyed hearing about where I'm at with my collecting process and doing a little pan that perfume sample project. I hope your perfume collecting process and your time here with me is meaningful for you, and I will see you again soon.